Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington. It's great to have you with us. Thanks for joining us for Sportsline Trivia. Myself, George Guido here tonight. George, good to have you.
Yeah, good to be here.
Mike's got a night off, and one of these days I'm going to have to take a night off, and you two guys will come on
We'll be more than willing to.
work with the audience on that. We're doing the show on a Monday night streaming and then Thursday night. So as I talk now about the Pirate game with the Phillies today, Pedro Alvarez winds up with a couple of home runs. I think he has 4 for the spring training so far. One of them was a grand slam home run, and the Buccos win it 18-4. So Pedro did a nice job.
I was in the Valley News Dispatch office while the game was going on, and a couple of people and I were bantering around back and forth saying, boy, I wish they'd save some of these runs for Johnny Cueto and the Reds next Monday for the opener. They're going to need any run they can get that day.
Now, the home opener is with
Detroit.
Right, but the opener is at Cincinnati.
Boy, remember that used to be a big deal for Cincinnati to have the first game of the season in Major League Baseball all by themselves. So.
Anyway, Vance Worley has been assigned to the bullpen, and lefty Jeff Locke, that was in his favor of becoming or going into the starting rotation. So who gets the game one again?
Liriano.
Liriano is still okay.
Then they'll go with Garrett Cole and then Burnett. Then they'll go with Jeff Locke as the number 4 guy and Charlie Morton as the number 5 guy.
Okay, which looks pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that looks good. I just like Worley a lot because he's a hard thrower. Locke is what they call a soft. I call him a wiffle ball pitcher, but baseball people call him a soft tosser. And you have to have pinpoint control. You have to have your ball moving just right to be effective. In other words, there's so many things that have to be going right for you. Then
tell me, what was so great about Elroy Face? Same stature as a Jeff Locke, at about the same size.
Elroy Face threw a devastating fork ball. Nowadays, they call it a split finger fastball.
Right.
But the ball would actually fork away from the batter.
And you never knew which fork?
You never knew which fork in the road it was going to take. And that was just so difficult. That's why Face was able to last, 17, 18 years or so. And now Jeff Locke, like I say, he had a great first half of the 2013 season. But since then, he's been ordinary because you have to have your ball moving just right.
Well, then they can, George, if they want, they can always make the change.
True.
So
I mean, you have
Worley there. They're both in camp.
Yeah.
So anyway, folks, I'm glad you could join us tonight. Here are rules and regulations on winning. And for those of you who are steady viewers of the program, you're probably sick of, seeing the rules and the regulations, but we have to do it every program because some people might take advantage of us.
And we're
no names, but All right, let's take a look. You can only win every other week. However, you can only win the Grand Salami or the Mystery Profile once in a calendar month. And that's because we have so many experts out there. Okay? The cupboard would be dry.
You want to give everybody a chance to.
Right.
Give different people a shot.
By the way, you can also try the Mystery Profile only once in a calendar month. Here are your time limits for the multiple choice questions. You get 15 seconds. The Grand Salami is at 20, and the Mystery Profile is clue by clue. And if you're a first-time caller, with a correct answer, you'll get more than one prize. We have also taken the opportunity to place any caller who has not been a part of this show for at least a year, that if they do win, they're considered a first-time caller. You can get answers to these questions by going to my website, doubledribbleBob.com. And I do a radio show that's on every Saturday on WAVL in Apollo. It's the AM station on the AM dial. There are 9, 10 on the dial. And it's every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. And it's not a talk show. This is all sports history and sports nostalgia. I want to thank Dr. Jim Minford, the dentist. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he mentioned this to you or not, but he had me stop at his office and get some magazines that date back, and I've been looking at some of this stuff. Apparently, he does catch some of my stories on the website, and he said, "Bob, there's some great stuff in here." So I did get a few, but he said, "When I'm done, the books go to you. You can look at them too." George, it's going to be a while.
Okay, well that's fine. That's all right.
So anyway, one of the stories that I'm working on, and I'm not going to put it on for a couple of weeks, because I just did one on Wilt Chamberlain that's coming up this Wednesday night, midnight, Tuesday night, midnight. Wilt Chamberlain always, for whatever reason, carried with him a large roll of bills, but on the outside, he would wrap a couple of ones or fives. You know, he didn't want people to think that there's a stack of 100, or $100 bills.
That's what the people in my class reunions do, I think.
So anyway, his friend says, "Wilt, you shouldn't carry that kind of money with you. Somebody's going to hit you over the head and take your money." And he looks at the guy and said, "I'll know when they're coming. They'll be carrying a stepladder." 7'1" Wilt Chamberlain. Let's take a break. George and I coming back. Tony is in the on-deck circle. Tony, hang in there. We'll take a commercial break. The show continues right after this.
The Anchor Inn on Freeport Road in Natrona Heights has 16-ounce Bud Light drafts all day, every Friday for just $2.50. 16-ounce drafts for just $2.50. Stop by the Anchor Inn on Freeport Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tattern's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubledribbleBob.com, where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough.
Extra Innings Sports Bar on Saxonburg Road in Trentham has $2 16-ounce Budweiser and Bud Light drafts during all NASCAR races. Just $2. Stop by Extra Innings Sports Bar on Saxonburg Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
All right, folks, we are back. And let's go to the phones here. Pick up Tony from Lower Arnold, good old L.A.
Hello, guys. How are you?
Tony, good to hear you.
How's everybody?
Well, we're hanging in.
I don't understand a guy that just come back from Florida on a vacation, takes a day off.
How about that? Boy, I tell you what, I want to get a hold of his agent.
Yeah, you're going to get a hold of his agent, George.
Well, George works when he can because his Monday nights are full.
Oh, I know that.
When George
I know. He's a busy man.
Mike gets the pink slip for 1 week.
Now, you said the Pirates won, what, 18-4 today?
18-4. Pedro Alvarez with a grand slam and another homer. He's got 4 for spring training. So I don't know who yielded the home runs from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But,
well, yeah, one of their
Guy who
top
started.
prospects started the game.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be the number 4 prospect in all of baseball.
Wow.
His name is Elfman.
Mm.
So
George, Bob, I could hear you lying clear. George sounds like he's in a foxhole.
all right.
Okay, we're okay now.
What's that?
George, tell me.
Yeah, we're okay now, according to the control room.
You're okay now. Okay.
Does he sound better?
Yeah.
Tony,
but
I need all the help I can get to
low,
sound
but,
better,
but
believe
I
me.
can understand both of you now.
Good.
Okay.
All right. So the Penguins. Can they ever hold a lead?
That's not easy. I'll tell
No,
you. When
not
you're
for
not
them.
scoring goals.
Well, if you watch, you're talking about the Sunday game against San Jose.
Yeah, yesterday.
Now, hey, you got a great goaltender in there. It's not, you can't say that it's Andre's fault. But you're right. But look at what they did in that overtime when they were down a man and they had to kill a penalty for almost
5 minutes.
4 minutes,
Boy,
almost
was
4.
that was great, compelling hockey. I'll
That
tell
was
you.
great. That was a great effort right there.
I'm glad you recognize that.
And that was, you have no margin for error when you're on, with 3 men on the ice against the other team's 4 because it's so wide open. Everybody's with 1 less player than normal. And
Naturally, yeah.
it was just fantastic how guys went down on their bellies when they thought San Jose was going to take a shot. It was just a great piece of hockey last night.
One of the things that the color man caught was the fact that one of the Penguins, if not 2, had the cuff of their glove just at the wrist instead of going up a little bit higher. And when they were down there blocking those shots and killing that penalty in overtime, one guy took a puck off the wrist, and that's got to hurt.
Yeah.
That's got to hurt.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't break his wrist on it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't understand the short gloves. Maybe it gives you more freedom, I guess, maybe with your wrist. But, hey, whatever.
That's
You
like,
know.
I can't believe, Tony, these football players that don't wear knee pads.
Oh, there's a lot of hip pads, knee pads, especially the receivers. They think it's going to make them go faster,
Yeah,
run faster.
I can't believe that.
Oh, yeah, it's been going on for, even the college teams do that.
Yeah.
They want to take less weight. Please, I would look like the Michelin Man if I was playing NFL.
That's right.
I'd have so many pads on me. Are you kidding?
Tony,
Oh, brother. I don't know.
I
Oh,
believe
well.
you.
So, what do you think, the Final Four?
Well, who do we have? Kentucky, Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Duke. Duke and Kentucky.
Yeah, 2 of the college blue bloods. I give Wisconsin a chance against
I do,
Kentucky.
too. In fact, that's who I'm rooting for.
Yeah. I'm rooting for somebody. Now, Wisconsin hasn't won it since 1941, so I guess they're kind of due. I always root for somebody who
that's a
hasn't
long
won it
time.
for a long time, yes.
74 years.
Yeah.
Tony, it makes it all the, of course, basketball is different, but if you remember, I'm trying to think of the name of the school in New York that won the NCAA.
CCNY.
CCNY,
City
City College
of
of New York, winning both the NIT and the NCAA in the same year, which was
Yeah.
back in the 50s somewhere.
1950, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, nobody said nothing to me, but I can't hold it off about the Notre Dame Kentucky game. I got to put my 2 cents in.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You're going to blame it on the officials?
No, heck no. I'm blaming it on that little jerk that stands on the side. That guy's been there too long. I'm sorry. He came up with a fantastic game plan. Believe me, he did. I was shocked. But then when it got down to the last moments of the game, if you look at him, he looked like deer in the headlights. He didn't know what to do. He
He's a little
panicked.
rattled.
There's an inbound pass. They got 1 second. What does he do? He throws it inside. The ball should have went outside in a quick shot. I don't. The guy might not have made it, but that ain't the point. They never got a shot off. But this is what gets me about him. Okay. They had that Godzilla center feeding him the ball, going up and making easy baskets the whole game. 2 times in that game, accidentally, one of the Notre Dame guys backed in towards him, and he couldn't shoot the ball. He had to throw it out. I mean, he is Krzyzewski's disciple. Yesterday in the game against Gonzaga was throwing the ball into their center, and he was going up and put it in. Well, that changed real quick. All right? As soon as that guy got the ball and he started to go to the basket, the other player from Duke went in and slapped the ball away from him. That happened time after time. Evidently, this guy is a disciple from him. He didn't learn anything being with Krzyzewski. Not at all. Now, they ran 4 backdoor passes and baskets against Kentucky. Notre Dame did. So what does a good coach do? He calls times out. He goes from a zone to a man-to-man, no more backdoor. Now, that's what you call good coaching. Now, it was a shame those 2 players towards the end of the game missed a foul shot. And there's your margin of victory, 2 points. But they are kids, okay? They are kids. And, those kids played one heck of a game against a team that I read in the paper today. It says had 9 NBA-type players, but you can only play 5 at a time.
There's times where they put 4 guys 6'10" or taller on the floor, and Notre Dame only had one guy over 6'7"?
Yeah. Their guards are 6'6".
And you take a look at the first game in Pittsburgh on that Thursday. Notre Dame led Northeastern late in the game. Northeastern had the ball with 15 seconds left.
Right.
Couldn't get a shot off, or that could have changed the course of the whole tournament. Notre Dame might not have even made it out
That's right.
the first day. So as Bill Cowher used to always say, there's a fine line between winning and losing, and Notre Dame and Northeastern was proof of that.
Well, let me tell you something about this coach.
Mike
This
Bryan.
has been going on, I don't know, he's been here 15 years. Every time he gets a big lead, he slows the game down. And it cost him all the time. I don't mean that cost them games. It did it a few occasions, but the other team always storms back. Why? Because when you slow the game down, the other team gets arrested, the other team starts thinking, what's Notre Dame doing against us? They have time to do that. When you keep the pressure on a team, bury them, okay? You're up by 25 points or more, all right, so you can slow down a game. But he gets up by 8 points or 10 points, and here comes the slowdown. Notre Dame slows down, takes their time coming down, usually throws the ball away in that. This guy's been doing this for years, I mean, believe me, I gave him credit for having a great game plan, and Kentucky, admitted that. But when it come down, to separate the men from the boys, he choked. So that's all I want to say about that, guys.
Now, let me tell you what I miss in the college game. Lou Alcindor's skyhook.
Yeah, that was unstoppable.
I'm telling you, this guy, I don't know how many points he made on the skyhook, but you get a pass into him, and he would just come out here with the arm. Nobody could block the shot. Tony, you still there?
I'm here. Yeah, I was listening to you.
Well, you are eligible for a multiple choice.
Well, I don't think I'll do it because I'll be eligible next Monday for the Grand Salami.
Okay.
I'm going for 34.
Okay, you're holding your powder till
What do
next
you mean
Monday.
34?
Isn't it 30? Don't I have 33 now?
You're going to make me go back through all these records. And
You know what? I can't keep track, Tito. I got so many. But
well, you know what? Here, let me take a fast look because I thought.
Go ahead. I'll talk to George.
I thought I had updated my website. Let me take a look at this.
Well, I can remember when you were worried about
20.
passing Lou Gehrig at 23.
Yeah, remember that? Yeah. And then whatchamacall, Jeter too. Remember he was.
What's
he
Jeter
tied
have,
the record.
A-Rod.
Was it A-Fraud? Oh, okay. Oh, A-Fraud tied the record. Yeah, he's back playing now. That's what I got.
He's doing
I got
pretty
to
well.
keep going. So.
They had him at first base the other day.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah. Well, you know what? He probably can't move, as good as he used to. So that's it. Hey, what the heck? A lot of good players finish their career at first base. So, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
All right, Tony, here's what now this is not updated. I have you down for 30 on my website.
30? No,
According
you're
to-
behind on that one.
I know. Bill just corrected me in the control room. He said 32.
Oh, 32? Okay. I thought I had 33. Okay, so I'm going for my 33rd. So that's why I'll just pass on that. And nobody ever called in for the other one.
Yeah.
So we'll pass on that because I can't believe that, there's guys out there listening, and I know they have some have wives, some have girlfriends. Call in, say hello, my name's Mary. That's all, right?
You got it. And nobody would call. Hey,
Yeah, and
Tony,
then they automatically get that prize. And then if they want to go for their own prize, they can get that too.
That's right. It's a supplement.
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh well. All right, guys. You just have a great night. I'll
Appreciate
talk to
your
you
call,
next
Tony.
week.
Sure
All right,
will.
have
Okay.
a good one.
All
and
right,
if you
bye-bye.
folks want to get on the line with us, it's 724-236-0430. Interesting story I wanted to check your memory on. Story about Elroy Face, and since I mentioned his name in the early part of the show, it triggered in my mind this thing that happened when they brought him back after a trade to the Detroit Tigers. You remember the situation with him?
He needed one more game
To tie.
to tie.
We'll talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Let's do the break first. Coming back, George and I will return right after this timeout. Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
For over 38 years and 3 generations, Arnold Furniture has been the area's favorite furniture store.
We have over 4 floors of living rooms, dining rooms, recliners, bedding, carpeting, and so much more. You'll always find friendly personal service from one of the family.
And our prices consistently beat the competition, plus free local delivery and free setup guaranteed. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurnitureinc.com or stop in and see us today.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Why do my customers choose Husqvarna Power Equipment? That's easy, because my landscaping crew has to rely on a durable product.
I need the performance and quality that Husqvarna provides.
And the innovative products that help me move on with my day.
For maintenance, parts, or accessories, I don't have to go far. I know my Husqvarna dealer is right around the corner. Make the impossible possible and visit a Husqvarna dealer near you.
And of course, that Husqvarna dealer near you is Ace Hardware in New Kensington. Okay, we're back here. Elroy Face left with about 800 or so game appearances.
He was 802, 803, something like that.
And with Detroit. And I forget who he was tied with. But the Pirates made a deal with Face to come back for one last game. Even if he got in for one batter, it would make the appearance, the game appearance.
Right.
So Steve Blass was the starter. They didn't remove him. They put him in the outfield. And they took somebody else out of the game so they would have the max on the field is 9. So, but they didn't have him to break the record. And I often wondered about that.
Well, that was the the postseason deadline. It had to be August 31st of 1968 because Detroit wanted him to be available for the postseason.
Oh, so they brought him back.
Yeah, so Detroit If they would have waited one more day so Face could set the record,
Then he'd be lost.
then he'd have been lost and not been able to play in the postseason with Detroit. Then, people forget, he went in the expansion draft to the Montreal Expos and played there just briefly before he called it a career. But I think a lot of people forget that he went with Detroit the last month of the '68 season and then was picked by the Expos in the expansion draft a few weeks after the '68 season was completed.
They tell an interesting story about Face, and I know that I had this on my website at one time or another, but the ball players didn't have the luxury of parking lots or parking spaces close to the field. They just didn't have it. But there was a gas station, I don't know how many blocks away, but so many blocks away, there was this
Forbes
particular
Field.
gas station near Forbes Field. And the owner of the gas station, the year that Face won the, was he 18-1?
Yeah.
18-1. He made a deal with him when he was, starting to go great, whether it was 10-1, 11-1, what. He says, Roy, you can park free until you lose. And it had to be peanuts anyway. Yeah. And Face had parked free for months because he kept on winning. And there was also the story about an auto dealership located underneath the bleachers in left field, Studebaker. And I can remember years when Rosie Rosewell, the Pirate announcer, as Bob Prince was like the number 2 man, that Rosie drove a Studebaker. Great looking car.
I have a picture of it in my book.
Do you?
Yeah.
Anyway, Rosie, that's right, you do. Because it was one of the first things that triggered in my mind when I had seen the picture. Rosie Rosewell got these people to advertise either on his show or on the game, one or the other. But Studebaker, no longer in business now, was a client of either the Pirates or Rosie's warm-up show or post-game show. Also, if there's anybody out there who can remember listening to accounts of Pittsburgh Pirate games when they did the away games via ticker tape. In other words, Rosie Rosewell would take Bob Prince and they'd sit in a studio and this little ticker tape would come over and give the progress of the game. So they were always maybe a half inning behind, something on that order.
Transmitted, yeah.
No crowd noise at all. There was no crowd noise to be a part of the broadcast. That had to be as boring as heck. I remember listening to it as a kid. You could hear his tick, 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 like that. And you would think that somehow they would fake it up and even instill some crowd noise in the background just to put flavor into the broadcast. And it never happened. And Bob Prince would stand there with that tray, not stand there, but he'd have it ready.
They have sound effects.
It was a home run. It was Aunt Minnie raised the window, here it comes, and Prince would drop it. It would make the sound effects of glass being shattered. And Rosie Rosewell would follow through with, she never made it. People just loved that. And I remember Rosie's passing in February of '54. I was just turned 14 when he passed away in February of '54. But that elevated Prince, and it started to shake things up. I can remember Paul Long doing
games, for several years, absolutely.
Paul Long did games.
Back then, they
Joe
had to
Tucker.
They had to pretty much have 3 announcers because the way the press boxes were in the old stadiums, you would have to go somewhere else to go to the TV booth because a lot of these places like Forbes Field, Ebbets Field, and the Polo Grounds were built before TV came along. So when TV came along, they had to construct an impromptu press box. So, they'd have room for the TV crew. And Paul Long would sort of serve as the bridge as Jim Woods and Bob Prince were trading radio and TV sides. And eventually, I think, they used one guy either on TV or radio for the entire game. But in fact, in the 1960 season, Paul Long was indeed the number 3 announcer.
Let me slip one more quick thing in before we get to Mr. Tampa Bay, who's coming on the line with us. Talking about Rosie Rosewell and Bob Prince, one of the two, and my late partner and your ex-co-worker as well, Joe Falsetti, attended a Pirate game. Now, Joe was about 18 years older than I was when this happened. I'm going to guess when this did, and according to when Joe had mentioned the story, Joe must have been around 30 years of age, somewhere in there. At Forbes Field in Pittsburgh, an announcement was made on the PA that one of the Pirate announcers had become ill. If there's anyone who knows anything about broadcasting, please check into the radio booth. I don't know if Joe can elaborate on this, he could elaborate on his stories and embellish, as we call it. If he had a hot dog and a pop or a beer, that would have been everywhere, because he said that he raced to the press box. And as he was coming to the door, and a policeman or security guard stepped in front and said, "Somebody beat you to it."
That would have been his big break. We might have never had him here with us. He might have been a big national guy.
Yeah. Let's go to Mr. Tampa Bay. Thank you for tuning us in. Welcome to the program.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good to hear from you.
Yeah, I missed you last week. I got pretty tied up.
Okay.
The reason I'm calling is Pittsburgh Pirates. You know, it's the number one sport right now in my book. Pens. I don't know if did they win last night or
yes,
did they lose?
They won in a shootout.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Neil Walker situation. Are they just gonna let him go at the end of the year with his contract being up, or are they gonna try to sign him?
They can retain him for 2016, Mr. Tampa Bay. But at the end of the 2016 season, he would be available to go to any team, the highest bidder. And there's been some talk, very little talk, about him staying with Pittsburgh and extending him. But the last couple of years, he's had back issues flare up. And you know, when you're only 28 or 29 years old and you start having back issues, it'll follow you. And it will, it will be a problem. And that's why I think they're wary of extending Walker to a long-term contract. So we'll just have to see how it plays out. But he is guaranteed to be here 2 more seasons.
Okay. I was just curious. March Madness. I think it's going to be Michigan State versus Kentucky, even though Kentucky was a little scared with Notre Dame. I don't like the rematch of 92 matchup with Duke and Kentucky. I think it's going to be Michigan State. They got a better team over Duke.
Yeah, boy, at Michigan State, that coach, Tom Izzo, does such a great job with his teams. He never gets the big-time recruits, the 4-star, and he'll get a 4-star once in a while, but he hardly ever gets the 5 stars like Kentucky and some of the other teams do. But, boy, the job he does with what he has to work with, he coaches these players up, and every year he's up there. He's going now to his 7th Final Four.
Yeah, in 15 years. That's pretty good.
Just amazing.
Hey, I want to thank you, Bob. That was good gifts that I got from y'all for my Grand Salami win. I used the Mattios on Friday night, and that sandwich is that Iron Man.
You tried the Iron Man?
Yeah, I ate it. It's a...
Wait a minute. There?
No, not there. I brought it home.
Oh, okay.
I had to bring it home so my fiancée could see it, and she didn't believe it. After I was done with it, she said, "Geez."
Now, for those of our viewers who don't know what Mr. Tampa Bay is talking about, is that at Mattio's Pizza and Subs, they have a sandwich about a foot long at a minimum. It is loaded with so much stuff that when you hold this thing, you think, how in the world could anybody eat this in one sitting? But it's happened.
It's happened, yeah.
And Matt, who owns Mattio's, told me he's even had women who have done it. And if you can eat the sandwich there in its entirety in one sitting, you get your picture on the wall of fame and I forget what else. But
hey, that's enough getting on the Wall of Fame.
But congratulations on your win again, and I'm glad you enjoyed the sandwich.
Yep, that was good. I'm going to go for multiple choice today, and I think when's the Buckers start? 9 days?
Next Monday, 7 days from now.
7 days.
Start out in Cincinnati.
Hey, what seed is the Penguins looking at right now? Number 6 seed?
Yes, if the season were to end today.
It should be number 8 seed. Maybe number 9 don't even make the playoffs in my book.
Well, I'll tell you what, they got 4 big points over the weekend, so maybe they can turn it around. But I have my doubts, especially if Letang's going to be out for any amount of time.
Yeah.
All right, you all set?
A multiple choice.
Okay, here we go. This is an NCAA basketball question as we're approaching the Final Four this weekend. Who was the oldest coach to win an NCAA basketball title game? And there you have your clues. Is it A, Fog Allen, B, Larry Brown, C, Jim Calhoun, or D, John Wooden? The oldest coach to win an NCAA title.
I'd have to go with Calhoun.
Jim Calhoun? No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Fog Allen, the great Kansas coach, won it. He was age 66 in 1952. So that is our answer. Hey, Tampa Bay, good hearing from you.
Yeah, I'll be going for the Grand Salami next week.
Okay.
All right.
All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right, good to hear from you. Okay, I know we do owe for another break if I'm not mistaken, but we're gonna come back and talk a little bit more about not that it's baseball in particular, but a couple of things came to mind. We want to congratulate the Cager Classic people.
Boy, Bob,
on
they
a
do
great
such
tournament.
a great job.
Yeah.
They do such a fantastic job.
And you were there. I was there. So we're going to rely on you to get that. Bill, do we have another caller, or are we going to take a break? Is that what you're... Okay, break is ready, so let's do that. George and I will be right back. Stay with us.
Extra Innings Sports Bar on Saxonburg Road in Trenton has $2 16-ounce Budweiser and Bud Light drafts during all NASCAR races. Just $2. Stop by Extra Innings Sports Bar on Saxonburg Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go. Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
The Anchor Inn on Freeport Road in Natrona Heights has 16-ounce Bud Light drafts all day, every Friday for just $2.50. 16-ounce drafts for just $2.50. Stop by the Anchor Inn on Freeport Road and enjoy a cold Bud Light. Here we go.
And don't forget my book, Ali Kiski Sports History. It's available at Costello's Printing in Trenton, right across the tracks from Gatto's Cycle Shop. Also, if you'd prefer to get it online, as what a lot of people do these days, just dial up on your computer, wordassociation.com. Give you all the details on how you can make this book yours. Ali Kiski, Sports History, available for just $19.95. Bob, this is Holy Week, and you and I have Easter colors on. We didn't plan this tonight, but that's just sort of how things happen.
George, let me get back to the Cager Classic. And again, you know, we always pat these guys in the back. But it is such a huge job in getting the kids lined up. You can only be a senior.
Right.
You cannot be an underclassman. And refresh my memory on the length of the quarters. Are they
It's
extended
two
to 10?
20-minute halves.
Okay, so in
Two
other words,
20-minute
it's
halves,
equivalent
yeah.
to 10-minute quarters, so that everybody plays
Right.
or gets longer
more playing time,
stretches of plays. And the girls are in the one game and the boys follow in the other. And again, you have an MVP chosen from each. And the Burl Star,
Sydney
Bordenaro, God forgive me for forgetting. Sydney, you're on my mind always, believe me, but Sydney Bordenaro named the MVP from the girls' game. Excellent action shot of her in the Valley News the following day on that as well, Sunday's paper. Yeah. And who won it for the boys?
The boys' MVP was Trey Tipton from Apollo Ridge. And in the West, it was Billy Urso from Fox Chapel, the leading scorer in the AK Valley
How
this
well
year.
I remember the name Urso from the 70s.
Oh, yes, those great
My
teams
gosh.
they had in the mid-70s.
Battling Valley.
Yeah, boy, that was quite a rivalry. And remember, those games were in the afternoon. They had to play in the afternoon because of the energy crisis brought on by freezing temperatures. And the one year they had the coal miners strike, so they had to power down at night. So we had to go out in the afternoons and do games. And boy, I'll never forget, you mentioned before we went to the break, our old colleague Joe Falsetti, he'd say, Tattern, we're the only place open in the county. It's freezing outside. Well, the show must go on, Joe.
Yeah, they were some great games. And of course, you know, the gyms and the football fields that have since come into existence, since I started back in the mid-'60s, you know, I did a game at East Deer's football field for the East Deer Bucks. East Deer no longer exists. It's now Deer Lakes.
And that was that across from where the Sheets is in Creighton?
Yes,
Okay.
right. I did a game at Arnold's Field. And of course, Arnold is part of Valley High School. I'm trying to think, you know, and some of the other ones have never changed. Freeport, because they've never merged.
Yeah.
Kiski area has always played at Davis Field in Vandergrift. Springdale has always played at Veterans Field. East to west was the one, north and south. They actually moved the field in the same location. And I don't know why. Was it because of the sun on the Saturday games? Or did they do that to suit the football field?
They did that
or
to
the baseball field.
They wanted to try to get the baseball diamond out of there, but that's what they did, and they found out that it was easier to get stands. If you did it the way they have it now, you could get stands higher up. Before, you could only get about 3 or 4 or 5 rows of bleachers there. So that's one reason they did it. It's perpendicular to the way it is now. But didn't you and I forget who it was. I think it was before Joe Falsetti's day. You did a game sitting on top of the ticket booth?
Well, Joe was with me then, but I did games at one point with Mike Rice, who's now with the Portland Trailblazers. And we sat on the ticket booth, and believe it or not, it was slightly higher than the highest stands that they had. We felt that we had the catbird seat, and we weren't up that high, maybe 10 feet or so. But
you remember at Trenton, we used to climb up the light tower.
George, at my age,
I
if
couldn't
we
do
still
that
had to
today.
go, if we had to go through that today, and we had a young boy by the name of Tim Pewitt, who is now with, or maybe he's retired.
He's with the AP, and
I thought he retired.
Yeah, you're right. The last time I talked to him, he did retire from the AP out in Columbus, Ohio.
Associated Press, and Tim would climb. Here's what he would. He never put his pens and pencils in his pocket. He stuck them in his mouth, and he had the clipboard tucked under his arm, and he would climb the ladder like this with his arm holding his paperwork. And I would just pray that this kid was able to make it into the press box or that seating area. And I remember in the first year that we did a game at Leechburg, and Leechburg still has the same press box.
Yep.
George, it's not gotten any bigger or more extravagant. Nothing. Anyway, the mayor of Leechburg at that time came to every Friday night game. And it was, unless he just didn't assign it to anyone, it was his responsibility to lock up for the night.
Which the borough owned the stadium at
Right.
that time, yeah.
So the borough owned the stadium, and Mike Rice and I did a football game there. And at the end of the game, we had a post-game show. Obviously, we didn't have to see the field to do the post-game show. We had all of our notes on who scored and when, and the progress of the game. Everything was noted on paper. So the mayor came in, and instead of waiting for a commercial break, leaned over to try to lower the flap. They didn't have glass. They had the wooden boards that were held up with a chain, and they would bring them down, and then they would snap them in so nobody could break into the press box.
Right.
The mayor literally fell into Mike Rice's lap as we're doing the post-game show. He's doing this thing, and here's the mayor, and I even forget his name. Here's the mayor sitting on his knee because he couldn't reach the last latch, and he wanted to go home. Folks, I'm telling you, and that was when we did it on the radio, so there were no cameras to worry about.
And if the public only realized some of the hoops we have to jump through to do these games. I was out last month, one of these PIAA qualifier games. Highlands was playing Mars out at the Moon Gym, and they have an expansive, very nice modern
I was
gym
there
out
a year ago.
Right, you were there. You were there last season. And at the end of the game, you know, it was impractical for me to get back to Tarentum to write up the game in a timely fashion and get it in before our deadline. So I just stayed out there with my laptop to do the game. Everybody had left. I had talked to the coaches. I was in the gym by myself, and suddenly the lights went out. So I yelled for the janitor, "Hey, you know, need the lights back on." So I figured, well, while I'm waiting for the janitor to come back in, maybe I'll use the restroom. So I got up to leave, and the lights came back on. I figured, oh, the janitor, you know, knew I was still there. So I went back and did some more work, and next thing you know, a few minutes later, the lights went out again. And I'm saying, hey, you know, what's going on? So it turns out, when I did see the custodian later on, he told me that they had motion lighting in there. Now, after everybody had left and I was the only person, I was sitting still, the lights would go out after X amount of minutes. Then when I would move, the lights would come back on because it had a motion detector on. So even though this is 2015, you still have your escapades when you're trying to do a ball game.
I can remember doing a game in basketball at the Valley Gym. And the late Dick Romito was the principal at the time. And I remember calling him that Monday to say, it was so hot in the gym, and we were in the energy crisis, that they were opening windows. They had these chains at the bottom that they would pull, and the windows would angle so you could get, you know, you could cool the place down. So at Valley, we were way up at the top, and we were just sweating in buckets. Yeah. And it turns out that the furnaces were adjusted by remote control according to the temperature in the area. There must have been a misread or something, because they had that baby cranked up. And George, if I were on a diet, I should have been today. I could have sweated it away. Anyhow, we do have a call, but we have a break. We have a break, and I want the person on hold to stay with us as George and I take our final break, and we'll be right back. Since 1914, the local area has relied on the Resevich family of funeral homes in deepest times of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession of the AK Valley, now 100 years strong and still doing things right. Its reputation and unquestionable service now continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family of funeral homes, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road in Lower Borough.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
Automotive supplies, groceries, housewares, pet supplies.
All at discount prices.
Sofas, dining tables, recliners, dressers and desks, lamps and end tables.
All at discount prices.
Yard and landscaping supplies, special catalog orders, mattresses with full warranties.
All at discount prices.
School supplies, tools, paint, toiletries, model cars, toys.
All at discount prices. Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
All right, the Mystery Profile is sponsored weekly by the good people at Mattio's Pizza and Subs, located in Brackenridge Heights. We're going to give you their phone number now, 724-904-7312. Don't forget their signature sandwich is the Iron Man Hoagie, which you heard one of our callers talk about tonight. An absolute monster of a sandwich that defies odds to be eaten in one sitting. If you think you have what it takes, try the Mattio's Challenge and you'll be pictured on their wall of fame. Okay, let's go to the phones. Rich is on the line from Cheswick. Rich, it's good to have you. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, Bob, I went to that Riviera restaurant. It was outstanding.
A Riviera pizza place in Lower Borough.
Lower Borough, I found it.
Good.
But they have more than just pizza.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
We got spaghetti, and the wife got some kind of chicken. We had enough for 2 meals. Extras.
You took your wife Dolly with you?
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Hey, this Jeff Decker from Pirates, I guess he's going back to the minors with a left calf sore. Huh?
Yeah, he was doing well, and it was thought that he would be the 25th man on the 25-man roster, but he injured himself yesterday. He had to be carried off the field, so it looks like when he's back and healthy, he will start the season in Indianapolis.
It looks like Lambeau has that down for the fourth outfield, huh?
Yeah, that's the way it looks right now. Unless something unforeseen happens, he will be starting the season as the Pirates' fourth outfielder.
What is their record in spring training? You know?
Well, I've lost track. It's around 500. They've had 3 ties.
Was it 7 and 9 or
something like that? Yeah. But the strange thing, they've had 3 ties this year, and you know they only play about 10 innings, sometimes 11 innings these spring training games because the visiting team only brings so many pitchers, and once you run out of pitchers, you can't play anymore.
Hey, I see where Pitt's got a quarterback committed to them, Thomas McVitie.
Yeah,
He's
from
Archbishop
Moore High School in Cincinnati. Yeah, that's usually a program that produces some great players. So I think that's a good get for the Pitt Panthers.
Well, his coach said he thinks he'll be a steal for Pitt.
Yeah, because sometimes these guys fall under the radar. Scouting is so sophisticated these days, but you still get some guys that don't really start to play well until their senior seasons when all the colleges have their recruits pretty much lined up for the succeeding season. But he won't be playing for Pitt until 2016, but that was still, apparently this guy's a good get for the Panthers.
Well, he goes like 6'5" and 205.
Yeah.
That's pretty good height.
Yeah, especially for a quarterback. You can, like Big Ben, you can see very well over the line.
See where the Dodgers, they topped them with $3 million in ticket sales already?
Yes, isn't that something?
That's the best they ever did in history.
Yeah, they were the first team. In fact, they cut off their season ticket sales at $35,000 per game. So they are guaranteed to get at least $35,000 every game, even if somebody doesn't walk up to the box office.
Isn't that amazing?
Before game time. That's just amazing, Rich.
It is. And then the Steelers, they signed this Hayward Bay. I guess they want to have him for special teams, huh?
Yeah, he's kind of been a disappointment. He was once upon a time touted as a big-time player, but he never quite got there with Oakland, and now he's with the Steelers. I'm sure, you're going to have some injuries. You're going to have some occasions when you have 4 or 5 wideouts. He might get on the field, but like you say, it's probably a special team situation for him.
It is Kyle Drabeck. Is that Doug's son?
Yes, that's the son of Doug Drabeck, the one-time great Pirates pitcher.
Okay. I see he was claimed by the White Sox.
Yeah, he's been with Toronto. He come up in the Phillies organization. They traded him to Toronto, I think, in one of the trades. If I'm not mistaken, it was for Cliff Lee. But at any rate, they traded him to Toronto. He's never really quite blossomed to where they thought he would. They put him on waivers, and he was picked up the other day. So let's see if he can salvage his career.
Rich, I did a very poor job in researching their spring training record. I can't find it. I'm
well,
sorry.
They usually put it in the paper, but I haven't seen it this year.
Yeah, but it's right around 500. You know, they're doing okay. I think other than the injury to Chris Stewart, that's what you want to root for in spring training, for no one to get any serious injuries. Now, McCutchen was out, and I think the baseball people are starting to get like the hockey people. He has a lower body injury, but he's been back in, and he'll be ready to go next Monday in Cincinnati. But there are no serious injuries, no Tommy John surgeries, except for the one starter, Crumpton. But other than that, you know, they've been injury-free, and that's really what you want during spring training.
By the way, I don't know, it just seems to me that when the news hit about our center fielder, McCutchen getting his hair cut, it was like a shock.
That was the biggest news in spring training.
You know, I can appreciate the fact that he's selling the loose hairs for charity,
locks,
for for charity purposes. But I was surprised at how many people go, oh my gosh, he got his hair.
Just think if Palomola would ever get his hair cut.
My gosh.
Yeah. Okay, Bob, I think I'm ready for trivia.
All right. Which one do you want to do?
Multiple choice.
You're going to go multiple choice. You get the next question in rotation, which is number 7, and it is baseball. Who was the last of the legitimate spitball pitchers? Was it Ed Walsh, Stan Kovaleski, Dutch Leonard, or Burley Grimes?
Let's say Burley Grimes.
And you are correct, Rich. You will win. We'll get you out there one of our prizes, and I got your name, and we're all set to go as the only winner today so far. Anyway, Rich, we thank you for the call.
Okay, thank you, guys. Bye.
Okay.
All right, well.
I want to see, George, if I can still pin you on this one. Okay. In a game for the Pirates, 1975, Rennie Stennett goes 7 for 7. Only one other Pirate came to bat 7 times in that game with Stennett.
I'm going to say that was in 75. I'm going to say Hebner.
You're correct.
Okay.
Look at the difference in the batting average. Stennett was perfect, 7 for 7. And there's nothing wrong with going 2 for 7.
Right.
But
that's not bad.
Hebner went 2 for 7. I was in Hebner's company back in the early 70s when our company was doing a lot of work with Pirates, Penguins, Steelers, what have you. He said the first major league bat that he had was against Cincinnati's. Why do I always have these brain cramps at the most inopportune times? Big right-handed guy, George.
Jim Maloney.
Jim Maloney.
Yeah.
Jim Maloney. He said he could have rolled the ball in and I wouldn't have hit it. Folks, thank you for catching our show. Next week at the same time, same place, right here, catch it again. I'm Bob Tattern.
I'm George Guy.
And good night.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.